And we are live. All right, let me click over. Just a one-man show here today. All right. Hello, everyone watching. All two of you to start with. Anyway, I have my laptop over here. So if you see me looking in that direction, I'm reading the laptop. And hopefully we'll get some of you guys participating in the chat. So if you have any questions for me throughout the broadcast, just let me know. Leave a comment and I will periodically read them as we go forward. So anyway, today, as always, we are starting with a blank canvas. I don't know what I'm going to paint yet, and we are going to go on that journey together. We're going to figure it out. So hello, Travis. Thank you for joining. First, though, I'd like to start by showing you guys how the painting turned out that we started in the last streaming session, right? And here it is. So this is how it ended up turning out. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys. So I did about, I would say, another 3 hours of work on this total, spread out over several days after that last live stream. You know, pretty happy with how it turned out. It's not without its flaws, but you know, for a live painting, pretty fun. So I'll pull that out later to show again for those who joined the stream late. But for now, we are going to get started on a new painting. And one thing I did differently this time that I want to suggest is that I went ahead and preemptively painted the edges of my canvas black. It's easier to do that up front rather than to do that at the end and accidentally get black paint on your canvas. And one reason you might want to consider doing that, typically when I sell a painting, I'll frame it up and make it look nice before it goes out into the world. But some people like hanging up paintings without a frame. And in that case, if you have the black edges, it just makes it look really nice. So first thing we're going to do, I'm going to lay down just a base color to start with, just a neutral color. We're going to do a black and white underpainting. So our neutral color to start with is going to be this gray green, which on camera is probably going to look a lot more gray than green, and also in real life it looks a lot more gray than green. The green is actually pretty subtle, but I'm just going to tint the canvas with this just to give us a good base to get started. It's going to be a lot more interesting to paint on top of a solid color than it will be to paint on top of a white canvas. And for our underpainting, I am using acrylic paint. That way it can dry fast and we can make some serious headway on this painting over the course of the live broadcast. So I will start with acrylic, and then once we get into the detailing phase, I will switch over to oil paint. And for those of you new to watching me paint, this event, which we call Art Autopsy, started out as a live event at Hyena Gallery in Burbank, California, where me and some of my artist friends would get together and paint live for anyone who wanted to come out and watch. But the other cool part about the Art Autopsy event was that the gallery would set out tables and easels, and any artist who wanted could come by and make art alongside us. And now that I'm continuing this tradition online, I fully encourage everybody who's watching at home to make some art. You don't have to make what I'm making. In fact, I don't recommend you make what I make. But grab a piece of paper and a pencil, grab a canvas, some clay, whatever your medium of choice is, and just make art while I make art. And if you do that and you keep coming back to these live streams, I'm going to do these every other Thursday. So every 2 weeks, if you have a schedule where you're going to make art every 2 weeks, guess what? At the end of the year, you're going to have 24 brand new pieces of art that you wouldn't otherwise have. So I highly recommend it. It's a lot of fun. and there's absolutely no pressure to make a masterpiece here. You make whatever kind of art appeals to you. And now, that being said, if you do make art alongside me and you're happy with what you've made and you want to show it off, you can drop me an email at clintcarneycreates@gmail.com and send me a picture of the piece of art that you've worked on, and I will feature any of those in upcoming art autopsy videos so that the audience can see. Or if you don't want the audience to see and you just want to show it to me, that is fine as well. Just let me know. And if anyone at home intends on making art along the way, please let me know in the comments and chat what you're working on. All right, we'll keep checking the chat, which is right over there, throughout the stream. And hopefully I'll catch what everyone says. If at any point in time I miss a comment from you, you might have to retype it just if I get wrapped up in the painting. Okay, cool. We have a nice medium gray-green covering the entire canvas. And this canvas came pre-gessoed. So I didn't add any additional gesso on here, which normally I might do that, but what the base color does is it fills in, because it's a thin coat of gesso on there, the base color just fills in kind of all of those cracks, all of the little pores in the canvas, and makes it a lot cleaner to work with. That way, when you get into painting, if any of your canvas ends up showing through the painting, it'll be this nice medium tone as opposed to like the stark white of the canvas. So I always like to start with that. And I will periodically repeat myself throughout this broadcast because it's going to be a long broadcast and most people don't watch all the way through. So people pop in and out, and I want to be aware of that and make sure everyone gets something out of the broadcast. So here we go. I'm going to start. We're just going to do some sketching with some paint and see if we can't come up with something. Yeah, I don't know what it's going to be yet, and neither do you, and we will find out together. So again, I'm just doing the underpainting in black and white acrylic, just so that it can dry quickly, so that we can move on to some fun stuff over the course of the broadcast, instead of painting for 15 minutes and then having the canvas be saturated with oil paint and not being able to, and then we have to wait until it dries. So that's why we're starting with acrylic. Whereas normally if I'm doing a oil painting, it's all oil all the way through. But here we go. Let's see. I was a little haphazard with my composition on the last painting, which is kind of the nature of how these live paintings go sometime. I definitely want to put a cat in here, though. So I want to try early on in this painting, just try to be a little more conscious of what I'm doing with the composition. You know what I want to do? This is kind of going to be somewhat of a homage to Battle Cat, Masters of the Universe here, because I want to do kind of more of like a Griffin style cat, even though I know a Griffin is not a cat, but that kind of a thing, but have someone riding the cat, some kind of other creature riding this cat. So this cat is going to have kind of elongated, exaggerated features. So that a human-sized character could ride him. We'll give him a nice big tail. Right now, just sketching and kind of feeling things out. So I'm not really committing to anything just yet. So this could change. And he's gonna be just trying to keep the basic composition of mind early on. So let's see, he's going to be standing on something. He's going to have his front paws standing on something over here. Maybe this will be a fallen victim. I don't know. Let's see. And then his other back leg, we're going to bring it in somewhere around there. I'll figure that one out as we move further along. Let's see. Some people have joined the chat. Charlie Krampus guarding the VHS collection. Yes, absolutely. This Krampus animatronic I made in a previous YouTube video, which I made it came out like a week before Christmas, so it didn't get picked up by the algorithm because it was a little too late. So if you want to learn how I made this thing, check out my channel. I got a full video showing how I made this animatronic Krampus from a was like an angel or a Christmas caroler animatronic I redid to look like Krampus. And Jag the Ripper has joined. Let's do this. All right. Thanks, Jag. Thanks for joining. Okay. So this is... so again, let's see. If I want someone riding this cat, let's see. Maybe we're going to have their knees right about there. And their leg comes down through here. It's going to be partially obscured by that. Let's see. Come up here. And let's see. Shoulders about yay position. Maybe they're going to be, I think, in armor, like a knight. You know, again, we're leaning into some He-Man style giant cat riding here. You know, that's probably... As I go, I'm going to mess up and just, you know, correct as we go. That's the fun thing. Yeah, at this stage in the painting, when you're still figuring out what it is, you can't really make a mistake because there's nothing that you can't just wipe away or paint over. I mean, even as the painting goes on, you know, there's really nothing that you can't cover up. Let's see. So, this is hard to read, I know, in this rough, sketchy version, but some of this is going to be happening in foreshortening. I'm just kind of blocking in shapes here. So, let's see. Let's give this dude some big old horns. So this might be on a helmet, or it might be something that's growing out of his head. We don't know yet. Yeah, I'm going to have to work on the perspective on this rider and cat a little more, but that's all right. We're figuring it out. Okay, you know what? So I'm thinking he's going to be grabbing the tail, if that isn't obvious. But then maybe we want to do something attached to that tail, and then maybe in his other hand, which will be obscured by the cat's head here, he's going to be holding some other kind of a weapon, which just has like a counterpoint to the tail. Let's say that weapon is going to come out here, which gives us a nice kind of composition happening here. I'm digging that so far, you know, pretty basic. Okay, let's see. Holly K, I can only imagine have this kind of talent. Oh, thank you, Holly. That's very nice of you to say. But yeah, it just takes a lot of repetition. So, you know, I think anyone can learn to paint. I'm going to actually get a new brush. The last painting, real quick, now that we have 9 people watching, let me just show off how the painting from the last session turned out so everyone can see, and then I can reference it a little more as we go forward. So this is the painting from the session 2 weeks ago. right, or that we started 2 weeks ago. It was a 3-hour painting session for the live stream, and then I put another 3 hours in it to get it finished up. So that's how this turned out. And we did the same process that we're doing today, which was kind of discovering where the painting goes as we work. But over the course of doing that painting, I think I mostly used one brush for the entire painting until we got into the detailing. And that was this brush that I started on. And I just realized as I was going through this sketch that I have just shredded this brush. It doesn't mean I can't use it for different techniques at a different stage of other paintings. But as far as drawing with this brush, it's done for. So we are going to select from my wall of brushes here and just get a little cleaner brush. So this is kind of like a chisel tip angled brush right here. And, some people spend a lot of money on brushes. I'm not one of those people. I get these from a hobby shop in Burbank called Burbank House of Hobbies, and it comes in like a 4-pack. It's like $6 or something, really cheap. But I burn through them. So now you could argue if I spent more money on brushes, I wouldn't go through them so fast. But I tend to abuse my paint brushes, so I don't know if that's the case. Okay. And again, for those who are just joining, I highly encourage you to get out a piece of paper and a pencil or a pen or some crayons or a canvas or some clay and make some art alongside with me. And just kind of feeling this out. So as you can clearly see, I start super rough, and the entire process, just bit by bit, we add more detail in. So at this stage for the underpainting, I'm still just drawing it basically with the paint. And then eventually, once I have committed to what the drawing is going to be, I'll really get more into working out the lights and the shadows in this black and white version of the painting. And once I have those worked out, then typically I'll switch over to oil paint and we'll start, really getting some nice detail in. Is anybody who is watching the stream right now making art? Let me know in the chat. And if you're not, I'm going to need a really good excuse why you're not doing it. It's okay. If you don't, it's fine just to watch. I appreciate anybody who's watching. But I do want to encourage you to make art. Anyone can do it. It's not, you don't have to make art like I do. You can do whatever, make art at whatever level you're at. And you do it enough, and you just get better every time. And then eventually, you're going to start liking what you do. I have had friends before who said they weren't artists, and just one day they decided that they wanted to be an artist, and they buckled down and they started drawing or painting every day, and they got very good. Probably within a year, some of them far surpassed my skill level simply by committing to doing it every day, and I think there's nothing that you can't do if you can make a firm commitment and say, I am going to do this thing every day. You can learn how to do anything. Dunlap says, I'm about to be painting. Excellent. Love to hear that. Thank you. Okay, so I think it's going to be trying to think about where the light is coming from, right? And because this is like a fantasy, non-real world painting. I tend to not be too rigid with that, but I like to have a general idea. So I am thinking two light sources. One, front lighting them kind of coming from up above in this general area down on him so that we have a little darker shadow underneath, and maybe this rider is casting a bit of shadow on the back side of our cat. And then two, have like a burst of light or some kind of magic, some glowing thing coming from behind them. So we've got a light coming down here, and then we're also going to have like a rim light or an edge light kind of backlighting them. So that's where my head's at now with it. We'll see see as we keep going if that's where it's going to go. So in future live stream episodes, once we get into the swing of things, and quite frankly, once I get a little better with the technical side of getting all the cameras set up, and I want to eventually turn this into a 2-camera shoot so that you're not staring at the back of my head for most of this process. Maybe put a camera in front of me, and then a camera on the canvas. But once I get that worked out, the 2-camera shoot thing worked out, I'm going to start having some special guests come in, other artists, friends of mine, and have them paint with me, because you know, to you, you're watching a show on YouTube. To me, I'm just sitting in my garage talking to myself. So having a friend around to paint with, and then plus I think it would be pretty cool if we can toggle back and forth, and you can see what I'm painting and also see what the other artist is painting. And plus I know a lot of rad artists, and I would love to showcase their work to my audience, and I think you guys would dig seeing it. So that will be coming soon. I'll probably do a few more initially where it's just me, again, just to get the hang of things, and then I'll start bringing in some special guests. We'll see how it goes. Now, for those of you who follow me on social media or who know me, you'll know that I have 2 cats, and they are a part Maine Coon, part Tabby, if I would have to guess. They're long hair, big cats. And one of them, the boy, they're sisters. The boy is William, the girl is Sally. And he is just a rambunctious little devil, and he will climb onto anyone and everyone that comes over to my house. And so I might make this an homage to him. I don't have a picture of him handy, so I have to be doing this from memory. So it's not going to have a really good likeness of him, but I may end up giving it similar coloring, possibly. Or not. We're going to see. We're going to see as this goes on. Also, one thing, sorry about my squeaky chair, by the way, if you're wondering what the clown horn noise is, it's my chair squeaking. One thing I'm working on too, so the last live stream we did for Art Autopsy was just over 3 hours, and the full broadcast is up if anyone wants to watch it. But I'm also working on a condensed version of it, which I'll do with all of these episodes going forward. So for anyone who can't stick around and watch 3 hours of me painting, or however long it ends up being, you can always go and watch these follow-up videos where it's a little more condensed timeline, and then I'll put like a voiceover over top where I explain the process as we go. Let's see, we got a couple comments here. Let's see. Do you have a P.O. box for stuff? If you do, I'd love to send you a few of the hand-carved paintbrushes I make. Oh, thank you, Indy. I do have a P.O. box. Drop me a line at clintcarneycreates@gmail.com and I'll send you that info. I'd love to check out your paintbrushes. Fantastic. Thank you. AIR says, I love finding new to me artists that deal with unique media and subjects. Hey, well, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate that. I am new to live streaming, on this channel at least, so I'm happy to find new people. And actually, I'm curious if anyone else wants to answer. Is anyone watching who just came across this randomly on YouTube, or did you guys see it promoted on my social media or somewhere else? Just curious. Okay, let's see. Yeah, all right. Again, I'm going for more of a elongated fantasy version of a cat. This is not going to be like even though it's going to have house cat components. It's going to be kind of longer legs, almost like a griffin-like posture. I think is what I'm going for. I think we'll see. I don't know. I like to pretend like I know what I'm doing, but sometimes the painting just takes on a mind of its own and turns into something else that I don't even intend. So we're gonna figure it out together. And if anyone has any questions or comments along the way, or just wants to chat with me or anyone else in the chat, I highly encourage it. Let's keep the chat going. Okay, that's okay for now. The cat, basic shapes, not a lot of detail yet, but it's feeling right. I'm digging the composition. So this guy, so he's either going to be like a knight or a Viking with this horned helmet, or maybe it's like some kind of an orc or a demon or something, a troll. I don't know, but that's okay. He will tell me what he wants to be as we go. Charlie says, I'm guessing you have to keep William out of the garage when you paint. Yes, I do, for these live painting things, because I've got cables stretching everywhere with the camera and the light setup and everything like that. William would be a pure terror for trying to work. He would just tear everything up. So I unfortunately have to keep William out for the live streams, but he is a regular fixture on the rest of my content. So keep an eye out for him in those videos. Yeah, he climbs all over me. A lot of times when I paint, if I'm painting in the house, not in the garage, he will be living on my shoulder while I paint. And then it becomes a constant battle with trying to pull cat hair out of the paint, which is not fun, but he's so darn cute, it's worth it. Okay, I'm just roughing in some shapes for armor here. I think a lot of medieval armor, or all medieval armor, is kind of handmade, so there's probably no consistency to the shapes, so I can pretty much get away with just making up whatever shape I want. And after all, again, it's going to be like a fantasy style painting, so I'm not really going to concern myself too much with this being based in any kind of reality. Let's see, we get some plates on the arm there. Let's circle around here, and let's see. Yeah, all right. Feeling all right about that. Let's see. Now, Gotta work out this angle. All right, he's got kind of some weird proportions, but that's okay too. Again, I'm not getting too precious with this with this painting. I'm just having fun with it, right? So just rough in a hand, I will figure out the positioning of that hand in greater detail as we go on. So you have to bear with my rough shapes for the time being. Okay, yeah, I'm feeling good about that. And then this, I'm not sure if I want to do a sword or a spear or an axe. I'm just going to keep it as a stick for now. We're going to figure out as we go if that's going to, what that's going to turn into. Well, let's get a little light coming in on the top of his knee there. Maybe on his belt. Maybe he's got some kind of a sash or something. Okay, let's see. More comments. My partner has loved your stuff for a while and asked if I wanted to watch your painting live. I'll send you an email for the brushes. I do palette knives too, and I'd love to send you a few of those. Oh, thank you, Indy. I appreciate it. And I do use palette knives. Thank you. And I'm in need of some new ones because sometimes I'm rough with them and fuck them up. But thank you so much. I'm very appreciative, and I would love to check out your brushes and palette knives. That's amazing. Thank you. Okay, let's see. All right, let's figure out what his face is going to be here. I'm feeling bighorn sheep. Let's see if we give him a muzzle. Yeah, I'm just blocking in some shapes here. Don't judge my rough sketches here. Let's see. Block in some shapes. We give him some ears. Yeah, I think this will look pretty evilly. Oops. The other cool thing about, I laid down this medium gray green, but now, like when I mess it up, because now I think its head is going to be a little smaller than where I position the horns, but I can just go back in there with this gray and use it like an eraser, right? And just paint out the top of his head, clean that up real fast, and because it's acrylic paint, it dries super fast. So da da da. His eyes are lopsided. That's all right. We will figure that out. Okay. Yeah, I'm not feeling too bad about that. I think that looks pretty cool. I don't know yet at this stage, is it going to be like he's a dude wearing like a armor or a helmet of like this mountain goat or mountain sheep bighorn thing here, or is it going to be actually an organic goat-headed mountain sheep-headed creature? I don't know, and that is totally fine. Let's see if we can get some more definition on these horns. and I'm reshaping them, and you'll see they're getting a little out of control, but I'm planning in my head, I know that I'm gonna erase some of this stuff by painting over it. So in fact, we'll just go ahead and start with that. I'm gonna thin these down a bit. Just like that. And trying to figure out the angle, right? So these kind of animals, if we're going for this look, you know, they're not always, their horns aren't always symmetrical. So sometimes you can get away with fudging it a bit, but you do want to keep it in mind to some degree. If this thing, you know, has two horns that are coming out this way and it's facing, you know, slightly off to the side, you know, how's that horn going to look from that angle? This is where, you know, having a reference would be fantastic, but it's also kind of fun to just figure it out in your head and think about what it could be like. And if it's not accurate, it doesn't matter at all. Not for what we're doing here, just having fun, right? Okay, that's looking good. Enough to start with. Okay, let's figure out what else is going to be happening in this painting. Let's set our horizon line right about here, right about there. And I'm just going to block in a little bit of color in the background here, or a little bit of lighter gray in the background here. I just want to keep a visual eye on that horizon line so I am aware of it. Okay, and I want, again, some kind of light source coming from behind him. This is some kind of magical thing. It might even just be a sunset or something, or fire of some sort. I don't know. And off in the distance, we're going to throw something over here in the background. I have no idea what that something is, but I'm just going to put in some squiggly thingy here. Maybe it's a tower. Maybe it's a building. This is going to be deep background there, just to give us some interest. And then I want to kind of create... right now, I'm just blocking in stuff, right? And then trying to explain my thought process as I go, but I don't really know completely where this is going. That would, if I knew, that would take away some of the fun, right? So, but I think I want some kind of a vignette effect happening on this canvas. So I'm just adding a little, darkening it up a little bit around the corners, just to remind myself when we get further along in the painting that I wanted that kind of a vignette to it. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about the composition. You know, we're going to keep working it as we go. But yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty cool piece. So I know we want this cat like stepping on something, and it would be cool. He could just be climbing some steps or something like that here. Let's see what that might look like. Or stepping up on some kind of a platform, maybe. But it also might be cool to have him like on, like the, oh, like he's crushing his, like he's just defeated like some kind of a dragon or something here. So let's just, and I'm not committing to this at this stage, but let's just put in the head of some kind of creature right here, some kind of serpentine creature. Maybe it's a giant snake, maybe it's a dragon. We don't know yet, but let's just rough this out. This is just the head, and of course the body of it will continue off canvas, so we don't have to worry about what this thing is going to be specifically, but I'm just going to give a basic little creature happening here. Yeah, I like this better than having them on a step, or yeah, I like adding more organic things, more creatures I can put into a painting. Typically the happier I get with it. And his other paw back here somewhere. Okay. Maybe this is like a cathedral type thing, or some kind of a shrine thing. I don't know. It's something. Some kind of visual interest in the background. Yeah, I do like the idea of now that I'm looking at it, I think if we make this like sunset, I got to find a better angle for this camera, by the way, because it's like I got my computer here where I can see the chat stuff, and I realize this whole video is the back of my head. But I think that like, yeah, if we have sunset or sunrise happening here, have a pretty dark sky behind him, but that redness, red, orange, fiery sky creeping in just at the bottom of that skyline, popping up, backlighting them. I think that will be a really cool effect. So we're going to go with that. And then just I'm just roughing in some other texture for the background, and this will get worked out as we move along as to what these things will be. For now, I just want visual interest of shapes. On the last painting that I did in for the last live stream, I paid zero attention to the composition as I was going, and I'm fine with how it turned out. Like I'm happy with the painting for what it was, but as I got further into it, I was wishing that I had paid a little more attention to the composition early on, because it's kind of all over the place. So it's a fun piece, but it's yeah, not necessarily pleasing to the eye. Okay. Wow, a limited edition Clint Carney brush set would be cool to see one day. That would be awesome. I would love that. Okay. Yeah, okay. What do you guys think of this basic composition so far? No, there's not a lot of detail on it yet, but are you digging this vibe before we get into fleshing it out more, or do you absolutely hate it? I'm going forward with it either way, just so you know, but I am curious how you guys are feeling about it so far. Okay, yeah, so assuming this is the basic composition, we're still sticking with the underpainting yet. I'm not moving into oil yet because I want to make some headway on the painting over the course of the broadcast. So now I'm just going to start up at the top. I'm not even going to worry about the background until we get into oil, the sky and stuff like that. We just muddy things up to do that part in the underpainting at this point. But I'm just going to start up at top and start fleshing out some detail from the top down. And the reason I want to work that way is because I might be laying the paint on a little thicker as I go. And if I work from the bottom up, I'm going to be dragging my hand through the paint and smudging my painting, which I'll probably do anyway 100 times over the course of this painting, but I'll try to minimize that as much as possible now that we have the composition by going top down. Okay, and we got some more comments. Let's see. Charlie, goats and cats. How could I not love it? Oh, thank you. And Nauman Rudel says, how's it going tonight, fellow folk? Going well, Nauman. Thank you for watching. Again. Okay. I need a new rag. This one has too much wet paint on it, and I'm just wiping paint on my hand at this point. Ta-da! Magic. Okay. And I'm going to grab a little smaller of a brush now. Again, I'm just going with this chisel tip, but this one is just a little more fine of a brush. And just going to start working this out. Now, because this is just an underpainting where I am just mostly establishing lights and shadows, but I do have a tendency to like to start putting in detail even at the underpainting stage of things. So you'll probably see me do a lot of stuff that it just ends up getting covered up anyway, and then I go back and pull it back out again as we go. It's kind of just a whole journey that we're going on. But that is the journey of a painting. Let's see. Nauman Rudel says, just made a batch of Reuben sandwiches, and this is the perfect thing to watch while eating. That sounds delicious. Enjoy. Okay. And, you know, some antlers have these kind of, well, probably all antlers have these little, or for bighorn sheep at least, have these little ridges to them. I'm not going to get crazy with the detail, but I'm going to just hint at them by, just going back and forth on there rather than just doing a solid white bar. Just those little lines there. It's kind of all we really need to hint at the detail of the texture that loops around those antlers. This is repeated info if you watched my last live stream, but for those who haven't, this will be new to you. April 19th, there's an event in North Hollywood at the Mayflower Club called hosted by Hyena Gallery, and it's called the Hyena Horror Market. And it's a free event, and there's going to be a ton of really cool vendors there. There will be artists such as me and a bunch of other really cool ones, as well as just vendors that are selling all sorts of cool stuff. So I will have art there as well as music stuff, and I'm going to bring a bunch of masks that I made. I'll have all kinds of stuff. It'll be a fun event. But I did this same little convention last year, and it was a blast. You get a good chance to meet the different vendors and artists that are there and talk to them, and I got to meet a lot of really cool people, a lot of people that were vending, and just a lot of people just came out and stopped by my table and said hi, and I had a great time. Oh, did I lose the live stream? Uh-oh, I think the live stream stopped. Let's get this worked out. My video on my live stream paused. If someone leave a comment in the chat and let me know if you're seeing this stream or if it's frozen. Okay. Uh, okay, I got to stop the stream for a second, and then I will pick it back up. So don't worry, stream is not over. I just got to work out what this problem is. One moment. Nope. And we are back, and I lost I lost all the audience except for two people. I do not know what happened. I had to reset the camera and rehook up my uh, recording software. So anyway, we're back on track. Hopefully people will join us again. Yeah, all right. A couple people came back in. All right, cool. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Again, this is why I want to work out all these bugs before I bring on special guests into the show. That way it's not as embarrassing when I have to run into these kind of snags. But thank you guys for those who stuck with the broadcast. Oh, let's see. Nauman says the video is mirrored now. Let me figure that out. Aha, did that work? I think. Let me know. That should work now. I think the entirety of the last live broadcast was horizontally flipped as well, and I didn't realize it until after it was over. So everyone who watched that one just thought I was left-handed. But yeah, let me know if it's back on track. All right, hey, back to 10 people watching. All right, cool. Didn't lose everyone. Oh, cool. Thank you for confirming that the flip worked. Yeah, and I'm not, again, in the underpainting side, or, the underpainting part of this process, I'm not going to go crazy detailed at this point, but I just I want it to have a little more detail before I switch over to oil. And then I can also go back in at this point and start erasing some of my background mistakes here with more of this neutral gray color. Indy's comment about the view being frozen on the back of my head. Yes. Thought you guys would like to see more detail on the back of my bald head. Hope you enjoyed that while it lasted. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I said before I wasn't sure if I was going to go with the helmet or with like this actually being like a goat creature guy, but now that I'm seeing him kind of getting more fleshed out, I'm really digging this direction. Um, the horns, I'm not liking what I did with that horn. It's not matching correctly, so I just erase that for a second with some of this neutral gray green. Once this dries, I'll go back in and reshape it. I'll just keep working down for now. And for now, know that I have to fix that horn. And kind of reshape his face a bit here. Da, da, da. And as we get into detailing, we'll make him look a lot more menacing. But for right now, I'm going to just move on to the armor. I do not really know much about armor, as will probably be evident by how I'm painting it. But as long as someone can look at it and get the basic idea that he's wearing armor, I'm cool with that, right? Charlie says, looks fine. It's still auto-focusing, though. Maybe that's just personal preference. Oh, it is. Okay, well, I'm going to see if I can get this camera to autofocus on... Oh, that didn't do it. I'm trying to get it to just focus on the painting. Let's see. Let's see if I stick my head in. Okay, hopefully it will just stay focused on the painting now and not my head as I dip in and out, ruining the shot with every move. Thank you for that note, though. That's good to know. I'm looking over here at the live stream in the chat as I paint, but there's like a 30-second lag or something. So if you see me just staring, waiting for something to happen like a creep, I'm just checking out to see how the painting's looking, see if it's refocusing. It looks like it's still autofocusing. Hopefully that won't be too annoying. Travis says it looks like it might be trying to focus on the moving Krampus arm. That could be. Let's then, we're going to lose a little bit of our ambience here, but I'm going to switch Krampus off. Everyone's got a chance to enjoy Krampus. Krampus will say goodnight for now and just take a breather while we continue painting. Maybe that will fix the focus. Fingers crossed. Oops. Hey, look at that. Just smudged the crap out of that. Too much water. Did that help at all with turning Krampus off, or is it still going crazy with the focus? Okay. Once we get into detailing, I'm going to add some kind of, I don't know, some little detailing in the armor here. Maybe give it like some filigree or some kind of, fancy, fancy looking, um, make it look like a cool, expensive costume piece that he's wearing, or armor piece that he's wearing. But for now, light, shadow, that gets us through the underpainting. Detailing will happen in oil. And again, so the idea, I think, right, is that he's wearing like a metal piece over his shoulders, and this will be like a metal breastplate here. But then probably this area here is going to either be chainmail or even cloth, but it's going to be mostly in the shadows. So just painting it in dark for now, and we'll figure out that detail once we get a little further along. Okay. That's kind of dry up there. I'm just going to reshape this horn real quick before I forget. Okay. You know what I should do, because it's really awkward just painting in silence and hearing my own voice talking. I can't broadcast music because then the video will get taken down for copyright stuff. I don't want to just sit here listening to my own music because that's weird. But I guess I could be painting in headphones. That might make it a little less awkward. So maybe I'll do that next time. We'll see. Okay, and then the idea, so this forearm here is like a couple plates of armor. You know what I mean? So not like one solid piece, but like a couple overlapping scales of armor, if you will. Just thinking about like how that might have to be to enable movement for goat combat. Again, I'm just roughing this in, but I like that general idea. I need to finesse it. Let's see. Now, when Rudel said, I don't mind you playing some System Sin. Well, thank you. I mind it. No, it's fine. Not that I don't like it. I just sitting here listening to my own music while everyone watches me listen to my own music just seems like a recipe for me feeling super awkward. So, okay. Yeah, that's something. Shaping up, shaping up. Need to WD-40 this chair before the next live stream because it is squeaky. I'm just roughing in some fingers here. I will finesse those as we go. this gauntlet has a bit of foreshortening on it. Let's see. Light's going to hit it from there. So this back part's going to be pretty dark. And then I think I mentioned earlier, I'm going to have another light source hitting them from behind. But I'm not going, at this point, like as I'm working out the light and shadow, I'm only kind of concerned with the light coming in front and down going toward him. I'm not thinking about the backlight yet at this point. I know it's going to be there, but that's going to show up on the figure more as like a rim light, so that can kind of almost be an afterthought. I want to get the sky in and work out the color and all that sort of thing before I get too deep into how the backlight is going to affect the characters. So for now, not thinking about that stuff, or not committing it to paint is a better way to say that. Okay, so he's going to have a big fluffy tail, I think, but that tail is going to, since the goat guy is grabbing it, that fluff is going to get condensed at the point in which he's grabbing it. So causing the hair to kind of shoot out from that central point. And the cat is totally cool with this, by the way. The cat doesn't care that he's grabbing the tail. That's how he steers him. It's like a rudder on a ship, right? So no battle cat was harmed in the making of this painting. Let's see. Haunted house music. You already have the spooky creaky chair. Now you just need rattling chains, a ghoul, etc. Something from the Johnson Smith color. Yeah, totally. I should do that. That's actually not a bad idea. I do like a Halloween display at the house every year, for the kids in the neighborhood that trick or treat and stuff. And I have music going throughout that, which is a mix of horror soundtrack stuff that I like, and then there's some original haunted housey compositions that I throw in there too. So maybe that's a good idea. Maybe I can introduce that music into one of these live streams when I'm painting something more spooky. Offbeat Vegan says, "Hey Clint, looking good. Thank you so much. It's coming together. Let's see, we are about just a little over an hour deep into this painting so far. But yeah, it's taking shape. So we'll probably go for another hour or two tonight, or until I think last time I just painted until everyone stopped watching. At some point in time, I looked over and realized that I was just talking to myself, and no one else was watching, and then I ended the stream. So I'll probably do the same tonight. Well, I'll keep going, or until the canvas gets so saturated with paint that we can't do anything. Yeah, okay. This is contrary to what I said before. This is not going to end up resembling my cat, William. William has too pointy of a face, so this guy's already turning into more of a round-faced cat. So scratch that. Don't tell William that at one point in time it was going to be him. I don't want him to be offended that I changed my mind. Before before I finish this painting, like after the live stream, because inevitably, there'll still be some work to be done on it after the live stream, but I should probably look at a picture of a cat at some point and just make sure I'm not totally messing it up. But maybe it's more fun as just an approximation of what of a cat as opposed to it being super realistic. I don't know. Let's see. Naman Rudel says, got a very Maine Coon look to that cat. Ah, yes. Well, William is a Maine Coon, so maybe he's influencing it in spite of himself here. Jowls, yes. If you have never tried to draw an animal without looking at a picture of it, I highly recommend doing it because it's always funny how even like an animal that you see every day, um, when you try to recall it to your mind and try to replicate it on a canvas or a piece of paper, how it's always slightly off, but that's a lot of times the fun of it is uh, seeing what seeing what your brain thinks it is. And if you can't, like, I mean, this is going to be a passable cat, all right, but if I tried to draw something like I don't know, a giraffe or a hippopotamus from memory or something like that, it would probably be quite quite funky looking because I just don't draw those a lot. I probably haven't drawn one of those since I was a kid. Maybe that would make a fun painting sometime. Let's see. Offbeat Vegan says, curious why a black and white underpainting and greenish background, new technique to me. Oh, okay. That's right. I'll explain it for you and for other people who weren't in at the beginning of the broadcast. So if I just start painting on a white canvas, um, one, it is not very interesting on camera, right? So just having a mid-range color in the background makes the black and white pop more, and it makes for a better video experience for you guys. So that's one thing, but that's just kind of like an ancillary benefit. The main benefit is as you go in and start to work on. Let me start over. There are a lot of pores on the canvas, and uh, sometimes you can't fill in all of those pores, so you're working on a painting and some of those pores reveal the bright white of the canvas underneath. And at that point in time, sometimes it's too late to cover them up at that point. But if you get all of those pores covered at an earlier stage in your painting, see, we can see right here, there's some pores. So if you cover those at an earlier stage in your painting, then if any of that shows through, it's just this kind of neutral color, and it's not like bright white that pops out, and it just makes for a more pleasing painting. So that's why, to answer that question. Let's see. Indy says, so many cats have silly names, but William is a whole government name. I love it. That's not a cat. That's a taxpayer with a 401k. Yes, that's correct. William does pay taxes. He is an official citizen. Okay. Okay, this cat's looking all right. Looking all right. These eyes are pretty cartoonish, but we're going to work that out once we get into color. Charlie says William could make a living modeling. Yes, he could. I did. If for those who are familiar with more of my work, my pets always make cameos in different paintings from time to time. But I think thus far William has only officially been in one painting, and it is a painting of like a devil holding a cat on his shoulder, and of course the devil is based on me and the cat is based on William. Yeah, that I think is actually, I was really happy with how that turned out. Getting like a likeness on an animal is, for me personally, a lot more difficult than getting a likeness on a person. Um, it's also very, yeah, I don't know, specific. A lot. You have to really know the animal, I think, to capture their essence. And I was really happy with that one painting. I do not remember the name of the painting, otherwise I'd tell you, but if you go to clintcarney.com, I think it's somewhere in the painting gallery, but be forewarned, there is some weird, messed up, not safe for work paintings on that website. So, don't look at it at work. Okay. Yeah, okay. I think that's okay. Start on the face. I want him to look pretty mean. He'll be clocking the viewer, right? He's just looking straight ahead at us, eyeballing us. Oops. And I just messed up his eyes there. That's all right. Doesn't matter. We're going to fix that later. Okay. Yeah, I need to work out a better position for this laptop too, because I think every time I go to read, I'm just blocking the painting with my head. Let's see. The meme of a cat with a human face. The artist had no idea what a cat looks like when he painted it. Oh yeah, that's right. I know that one. That's a good one. Jolene says hi. Hey Jolene, thank you for joining. Glad to have you here. Jolene is my buddy from high school. Yeah, I mean the main detail on this piece, at least in the underpainting, is just happening on these figures. Um, Once I get through this, I think we'll start throwing some color in, and then it's really going to start to get a little more interesting to watch the process once the color starts coming into the painting. And now I'm going to repeat myself again for the sake of those people who are just joining the broadcast or who have joined recently. Art Autopsy is a reoccurring live stream. I'm going to do this every 2 weeks on Thursday night at 7 p.m. So 2 weeks from tonight is going to be the next one. And it started out as a live event at Hyena Gallery in Burbank, California, but now I'm just doing it online. And I hope one day maybe we can do the stream again at the gallery. That would be awesome. And in the future, we're going to pull in some other artists as well, so that it's not just me, so you can see other artists' work. But The main point is that I encourage you at home to get out your art supplies and make art while I'm making art, and just get in the habit of making art over and over again. I know it's really hard for a lot of people to find time in their schedule to make art, but if you have time to watch this stream every 2 weeks, that's your perfect opportunity. So you can make art while I'm making art. And if you do that and you make a piece of art every 2 weeks, or more, hopefully, but every 2 weeks at least, you're going to end up with a cool collection of art that you've made and that you can be proud of. And for anyone who is making art from home, I highly recommend, well, I would ask if you want to share your art, send it to me at clintcarneycreates@gmail.com. Send me a picture of what you create during this live stream, and we'll feature it on a future stream if you want to share what you're doing. But of course, no pressure. One of the coolest things about making art is it can be just for you if you want it to be. You don't have to show anyone if you don't want. Um, there's absolutely no pressure. And I totally live by that. I'll tell you, I have painted literally hundreds of paintings, drawings, all kinds of things that not one human being has ever seen. And there's nothing wrong with that too. You can just you can curate what you want to put out into the world, but just the process of creating art is really fun and relaxing, and a good way to wind down at the end of the day. Let's see. Indy says you should have a hashtag, then you can see the things people make while hanging with you. Ah, good idea. Let's do it. Hashtag art autopsy. Great suggestion. Okay. Oh, you know what? I am also, he's stepping on like this dragon head or some kind of monster head too. So I am going to throw a little more detail into that. Since it's a character in the painting, I'm not going to, I do want to establish what that's going to look like in the underpainting side too. But that won't take us long. We're almost to color, I promise. Brian Bubonic, I just pulled the painting with William off the wall. The title is Azrael. Oh, thank you, Brian. Yes, that is right. You guys have that in your collection. I love that. I love that you guys have that painting. Azrael, yes. Who is the name of a demon, but also the name of the cat in the Smurfs. And Charlie says this could honestly work in black and white. Sepia coloring too. It looks like an old occult illustration. Oh, thanks, Charlie. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's funny you say that too, because I am going to go and get into color, but I think I want to keep it kind of muted, like almost like a medieval kind of color palette of mostly earth tones, with a few, you know, orange sepia kind of, and then with some other colors that pop, which I think would work really well. Basically, if you were to take this middle gray, look at that on a color wheel, and look at what would be on the opposite side of that, that's kind of, I think, the overall tone that the color is going to have. I think we'll see. Offbeat Vegan says, I was at one of the art autopsies at Hyena, maybe 2011. It was fun. It's Liz. Oh, hey, Liz. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I missed those events. They were so much fun. And hopefully, you know, you guys get a chance to go back to Hyena sometime, they are alive and kicking and doing awesome stuff. They've always got a ton of just great art in the gallery, as well as like a really cool collection of like old, kind of hard to find books and yeah, just really cool stuff. So if anyone has not been yet and you are in the Burbank area, go by Hyena Gallery. You can see a number of my paintings in person there at the gallery, as well as paintings of just a ton of cool artists. A lot of my personal art collection has come from that gallery because they just Bill Schaefer and it just curates really cool art. So go check it out, and you can meet the amazing Brian Bubonic, who is on this chat right now. Oh, you're in Chicago now. Ah. Well, Chicago's cool too, but they don't have Hyena. Okay. I'm debating this, whether or not, just talking out loud here as I do, I'm debating whether or not to give him like a hoof or keep it more of like a human armor type leg. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah, maybe we'll do one of those like pointy knight boots. I don't know if you guys have ever seen those on a suit of armor, where it like comes to a point, almost looks like a witch shoe or something. But it's metal. Let's try that. Maybe. Maybe. We'll see. For now, it's there. Oh, yeah, and he's got a... Does the cat have a saddle? Or is he just riding the cat bareback? So if he has a saddle, then I got to give him stirrups. But I kind of think that a cat wouldn't like to have a saddle. Let's see. Now, when Rudel says if you do a hoof, you'd have to make it look digitigrade. I don't... Digitigrade? Am I reading that wrong? My eyes are bad. I don't know what that means. We're going to go with the... in any case, we're going to go with this for now. Just the armor, I think. We'll see. I'll work that out later. I don't... That's a detail I can figure out later on in the process. The backwards ankle of animal feet. Aha! Now I see. And Offbeat Vegan votes for bareback. And I think you're right there. Maybe a cloth instead of a saddle, like on a camel riding, says Charlie. That's not a bad idea. Yeah, actually, I kind of like that idea too, because then that would give us... I'm just going to rough something in like that, because that would give... I like doing like little details on cloth. Like here's the painting. I'm just going to pull this up again. This is the painting from the last live stream, and like for example on this one, yeah, just adding this little star pattern on the cloth was super fun. So yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe giving like a little cloth saddle on him gives me an opportunity to paint in some little cool ornate details on the cloth. So I just roughed in a little shape there. So we're going to keep that in mind and see if that turns into anything. Thank you for the suggestions, everyone. And Charlie for the cloth suggestion. Okay. I have been working on new music a lot lately, and it keeps getting stuck in my head. So if you hear me periodically whistle throughout this, it's just I'm just working things out on these songs in my head. I can't help it. I realize that I randomly whistle, forgetting that I'm broadcasting that into the world. Okay, so this haunch is actually pretty long for a cat, but I kind of like it because it almost implies like he could stand up straight. Like it's a kind of, I mean, it's not like a reality based cat anyway. It's clearly like a giant cat. So I might just leave that, even though it's not realistic to like cat anatomy. It would probably more elongated like that for some weird reason. We're going to go with it. We'll see. Although maybe just bringing that knee in a bit. Let's paint background back in. Maybe that fixes it for me. Yeah, okay. So it's a little shorter, but still gives the desired effect. Okay, let's start fleshing out this creature here. Let's see. I'm just making sure you can see the creature from that camera angle, and you can. Okay. So yeah, I think it's going to be kind of like a dragon-ish serpent thing, maybe. Um, start with let's give him the eye a little bit of a little shape. I kind of want to give it like what is it? It's like, have you ever seen like there's moles that have little feelers at the end of their snouts that look like little tentacles, are cute and gross looking at the same time. I think I'm going to give this guy that kind of mole snout tentacle things down here. So it may or may not work, but we're going to try it out. Let's see. Charlie says, make sure it doesn't look like he's squatting to poop. Maybe he is pooping though. We don't know. We don't know yet. The painting's not finished. Well, the idea is that he's climbing up on top of this thing. So I think once this creature is a little more defined, that it won't look like the cat is pooping. But with his tail in that position, maybe it's always going to look like he's pooping. I don't know. Good point, though. And he says, I've been in my little old man whittling winter mode, so it's fun to do art that's less messy, more sketching, and less giant hamster getting wood chips everywhere. Yeah, whittling is fun. I haven't done really any woodworking stuff in a while. Brian says pooping is always a good distraction in a fight. That's true. And now that the fight is over, I think the cat is free to poop at will. Um, he doesn't have to worry anymore. You know, it's kind of starting to look like a weird fish creature as well, which I'm also fine with. Um, Maybe it's just some kind of weird monster squid. I don't know. But that's the fun part about painting monsters is you don't ever have to really define what they are. I was at the I talked about this in the last stream too, but I think I did at least. Was at the Getty Museum a few weeks back and looking at some of their amazing paintings, and it was really interesting to see how there are a few different paintings of like that featured sea creatures. So it would be like guys on boats battling some kind of creature in the sea. And I was thinking about that. Like back then, there was no photographic reference or even a lot of, probably not a lot of drawing reference either for what a creature would look like. So they might have just seen a dolphin pop its head out of the water and then not knowing what the rest of the creature looked like, and then they paint it represented as some crazy looking sea monster when in reality they were just seeing the, or they had to use their imagination to think of what the rest of the monster would look like. So in that regard, this is kind of turning into kind of one of those crazy classical painting creatures. Someone's weird interpretation of what they thought a creature looked like. I don't know if any of that made sense. Just rambling at this point. Brian says, sea creatures in map illustrations used to be so great. Yeah, for sure. 100%. We need to bring back adding in random monsters into our maps, for sure. Battle Kitty finds a giant squid snack. Yes, indeed. It looks like something that this cat would enjoy eating. Do, 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 do. Okay, that's probably good enough for now I think we can start bringing in some other colors. But I'm going to take a quick break. I will pause for a moment. I will be back in just a moment. So hopefully I don't lose the audience. I'll be right back. And we are back. Let's see how many watchers are we still have. All right. Hey, still 11 people watching. Let me reattach my microphone. Ta-da. Oh, hey, look, and I'm wearing a hyena shirt. I didn't even realize. Okay. Um, so, um, so this is mostly dry, right? I mean, this creature down here still a little wet, but the cat still has little wet spots. The goat's mostly dry enough, I think, um, to where I can start figuring out what's happening in the sky. So we're going to switch over to oil paint right now, and just going to start laying in some colors, and this is where I think things will start to pop. So I'm going to get my acrylic palette out of the way and grab a fresh clean palette right here, which we will get some paint going on. Okay, let's see. I've got my oil paints over here. And, okay, yeah, again, I think we're going to go with mostly earth tones. So I'll show you the palette after I squeeze out some paint. But basically, I'm using Michael Harding paint, transparent oxide red, which I use in virtually every painting I do. I probably rebuy this color more than any other color other than black and white. Okay, let's see. Transparent oxide red. I'm gonna grab my box of paint over here. Move some camera equipment aside. In advance of this painting, I pulled out some colors that I thought I would want to use, but the problem is I pulled out colors not knowing what I was going to paint yet, so I have to re-examine it. Okay, here we go. This is just cadmium orange. Squeeze out some of that onto our palette. Ooh, this tube of orange paint has seen better days. It's a little thick. Okay, and let's see, I want like a dark green as like a counterpoint, which I'm just going to pull out a few things and mix it up. I'm actually going to go, I think, with like start with an olive green, which is actually pretty dark, and then maybe mix that in with some of the iron oxide red to basically create almost a black. So again, ultimately I want like a sunset, sunrise type scenario here. In the sky, it's going to be very dark up at top, or at least in this vignette kind of shape, and it'll brighten up as it comes down there, I think. We'll see. Okay, and just going to squeeze out a little bit of white on the palette too, just to have it in case we want to lighten some stuff up. So I'll show you what we're starting with. So this is all we got on the palette so far. So again, this is our olive green, iron oxide red, and this is cadmium orange. Cad orange, is it? I think. I don't know where I put that tube of paint. Here we go. Yeah, cadmium orange. And then some white. Oh, I should probably also get a couple things ready to go. Okay, offbeat vegan, gotta go and be up for work. Oh, well, all right. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching the live stream. I appreciate it. And if you want to, obviously the rest of the video will be up online if you're curious how the painting turns out. You can always see that later. Okay, so I'm going to squeeze out some liquid now. Liquid is a medium you can mix with your paint. It helps thin it out, as well as will help accelerate your dry time. And it is a bastard to open this fucking cap sometimes. Oops. I'm trying not to curse in my live streams because I know sometimes kids watch, but I do have a potty mouth, so I'll try to be better about that for those watching with their children. Okay, so we got some of that liquid out and got some odorless terpenoid to clean our brush and so forth. Okay. And I'm actually going to get a bigger brush to start with just to cover more area faster. And again, I just love these angled brushes. Oh, it's just my go-to. I don't even know what they're called. I don't know names of brushes. I'm really Some artists know all the technical stuff. I am not one of those dudes. Ever went to art school. So I'm starting out with this olive green um, in the back, and then it's going to be a gradient into the sunset. So this is, well, you'll see. You'll see. I'm just going to shut up and paint. I got to pull this off for a second. This is just the thing that holds the painting in place, but sometimes when you're working at the top of the painting, all it does is get in the way. Indy says, I only remember the filbert brush because it's a goofy name for a brush shape. Yeah, definitely. That's probably the only one I know too. Okay, now if I introduce a little bit of this iron oxide red right up top, it's going to make this work, blend it in, darkens that up, but then we're going to, as we move further down, it's going to get more into those red tones and further away from the green. And it will just get lighter and lighter the further we get down. Some artists probably cringe at, painting the background after after you do the figures. Sometimes I'll do a landscape or the background fully first and then figure out what goes on top. But yeah, I'm just each painting is different. I'm not. My process is never always 100% the same. It's kind of each painting demands its own workflow. And in a painting like this, where I'm discovering what the image is going to be as I go, sometimes you just have to paint things out of the normal order of the way things are done. But that's okay. There's virtually nothing you can do to a painting that you can't fix later. And I don't get hung up on trying to finish a painting in one sitting. I mean, certainly I am capable of that, and sometimes it works out that way. But this painting, I can tell you already, is not going to be finished tonight. It's just going to, I'm already just in my head, I'm seeing all this cool detail that I want to add to it, that at a certain point, it's going to be saturated with oil paint, and I'm going to have to stop working because I'll be just pushing paint around and turning it into a big, ugly blob. Yeah, I'm going to paint until we get to that point, and then we'll pause, and I'll finish it up as the week goes along. I should also mention, just because got to do this. I have a Patreon for anyone who is interested, and I do weekly posts in there, at least once a week, minimum of once a week in there, and I talk a lot about just what I'm working on at any given week, and you get a little more in depth, and you have access to a bunch of different things. Anyway, if you look at it's patreon.com/Clint Carney, and you can look at the different tiers if that's something that interests you. And there, I did my due diligence. I mentioned the Patreon. Oh, you can. I should also say you can also sign up for free. So there are paid tiers, but you can also sign in there for free, and you do get some updates. Most of the stuff is at the paid tier level, but I am trying to treat it more like a social media and post stuff I would normally post on social media in like that free tier as well. Um, so yeah. Anyway, check it out. Oh, let's since I'm just here painting, talking to myself, and well, talking to you fine folks, but it's a one-way conversation for now. I'll tell you about a couple things I did last week that were pretty fun. I actually got to go to two different film premieres last week, which were super fun. The first one was a film called The Big Whoop, which was is a movie about like these middle-aged party clowns that are really bad at their job. Super funny movie, produced by Penn Jillette of Penn and Teller, who I'm a big fan of his stuff. And it was written by Stephen Banks, who also just happens to be my wife's cousin, which is how we got the invite to the premiere. And that was super cool. Really enjoyed that. So keep an eye out for that one. Um, it was like the cast and crew screening that we went to, I think, or premiere. So it's not like out yet. I'm guessing it's going to do the festival circuit or something, and before it actually comes out. But I don't know. But keep an eye out for that. I liked it. It was fun. And then on Friday, I went to another premiere, and that was for a movie called The Death of Snow White. So not the Disney Snow White, but this was a um, a more independent film, leaning on the horror and gore side of things. So just like taking the Snow White story, but giving it a fun indie horror twist to it. And yeah, super fun. And I was the visual effects supervisor, the post-production visual effects supervisor on that movie, which is why I was at the premiere for it. And that was also, yeah, really fun. Had a good experience working on the movie. And check that one out. I think it's either in theaters now or coming to theaters soon. So if you like that sort of thing, check it out. I got to step back. I'm still painting. I just have to step back for a second. Sometimes you just got to step back from a painting, especially here. From where I'm sitting, this paint is so wet, I'm just seeing glare. So I just got to change the angle of where I'm looking at it from, just so I can have a better idea at what I'm doing. Yeah, I think this is the ticket. I know it's hard to tell right now because it just looks like brown on camera, and it is basically. But as you'll see, as we bring in the sun, um, and the backlight starts making this guy pop, I think that's going to be really cool. But also, I'm kind of feeling that just a disembodied flame effect coming from behind him. Nothing that's there in the physical, like nothing motivated, like where I could say, oh, it's the flame from this, that, or the other thing, but just for artistic aesthetics, just creating, I mean, having the sunset, but even more of just like a fire happening in the air behind him to really make them pop out. I'm kind of feeling that vibe. Um, so maybe we'll go with that. Maybe I'll change my mind by the time we get to that part, but that's what I'm feeling now. Has anyone seen any good movies lately or any TV shows you're watching that you would recommend? Let me know in the chat. I just finished, and this was a rewatch for me, but great show or shows. I just finished. I started with Narcos on Netflix and then watched Narcos Mexico right after that, and just really fantastic storytelling. I won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it, other than to tell you that it's all based on true stories, which makes it, you know, very interesting and very messed up, but really great show. Fantastic writing, acting, everything. So, yeah, what are you guys watching? Anything good? The chat is quite dead these days. I'm just trying to get a conversation going, guys. Okay, you know what? Actually, oh, Yellow Jackets has been so good. Oh, Indy. I have only watched the first season of Yellow Jackets. I think there's like, what are they on the third season now? Maybe I got to go back and watch. Yeah, I got to go back and watch and catch up. Maybe that's what I'll do next. Oh, I also recently watched, what is that called? American Primeval on Netflix, which was like this Western expansion, but just like, yeah, a Western at its core, but just brutal and, yeah, just really makes me glad I live in modern times. Excellent show, though. Brian says recently went to a screening of The Thing at the Academy Museum. It was great to see it on the big screen. It was prefaced by a talk between Bong Joon-ho and John Carpenter. Oh, that sounds awesome, dude. That's amazing. Yeah, the Academy Museum is so cool. I went there with my wife a couple months back. They were doing a John Waters exhibit, which was so. I mean, they did such a great job with it. I mean, it's the Academy Museum, of course, so they have access to all kinds of cool stuff. But it was really just cool to see the volume of stuff they had from his work. All just props and costumes and scripts and his handwritten notes, and yeah, they did a really fantastic job. But I've never seen a screening at the Academy Museum. That would be awesome. Okay, we're getting a little closer to the sunset, and now watch what happens. So again, we started up at top with with the olive green, and then I worked in the iron oxide red, which is primarily what we've been seeing up till here. But watch what happens when we add just a little touch of titanium white into the iron oxide red here. It just turns into this kind of beautiful orange color here. And then we can just kind of work it up, get a gradient going. Yeah, I just love this color so much. It's really versatile. I use it on skin tones all the time, but I really look for any excuse to sneak this color into a painting. It's funny, I don't know, I don't know if you guys have this, if any painters watching, but I have like, you get to fall in love with certain colors. And it just becomes a treat when you get to that stage of the painting when you're working with them. And for me, it's always a red. So the iron oxide red, I always love, and like a strong cadmium red, even like on a otherwise muted painting, if you just make it pop with just like a bold cad red. I love that look. And of course, alizarin crimson, because I'm always painting blood. But for some reason, yeah, those three reds, something about them. and they're all three distinctly different too. Like, but it's just a joy to paint with them. Yes, I know I am a nerd. Okay, let's see. Brian says, Randy says, yeah, it's so good. I watched the first few episodes and was sucked in. I have to check out the one you suggested. Have been out of shows to watch. And Tom Roberts says, hello, hello, hello. Hello, Tom. Charlie says it's a guy that paints with human blood. Oh, yeah. That's the guy that paints with human blood is Vincent. Why am I blanking on his name? I was just thinking of him the other day, actually, because I met him at a gallery once. We were showing at a group show together, and I cannot believe I'm blanking on his last name. But his work, there's a few guys that paint with blood, but Vincent Castiglia, that's his name. He is like the guy that other people that paint with blood copy, basically, because his work is just amazing, just detailed, very realistic, and yeah, all done with human blood. And when I met him, super nice dude. Not the kind of guy you would meet and go, that guy paints with human blood. But yeah, I really love his work. Jennifer G, hello from Bruges. Hey, Jennifer. Thanks for joining us. Charlie confirmed. Yes, Castiglia. Okay. But you can see already, as I get closer to the horizon, how that just mixing that little bit of titanium white with the iron oxide red just really start making some nice colors. And then I can work some of that white up into here too, and just do these suggestions of clouds that are getting hit by the sunset too. I'm not going to get too crazy with those, but just a few little shapes so that give us some interest in the sky. Brian says, I obsessed over the blood in the ink of the Kiss Marvel comic when I was a kid. Nice. I don't think I ever saw that comic, but I know the feeling, though. Okay, I pulled out some of this cadmium orange onto the palette, and I haven't even felt the need to pull that in to the sky because I'm just really liking the way that this iron oxide red is feeling. I'll probably introduce it as we get closer to the horizon now. Maybe just a little bit of it. I don't want to overkill. But like I was saying before, I think I want to do some other kind of non-reality based fire effect behind him just to make him pop out even more. And maybe that's just while I have the canvas so saturated right now with the iron oxide red, I think I might just give him a simple white outline around the back of him and then work that white out into the iron oxide red, and which will make him pop and produce kind of this effect, this similar sunset effect, but coming off of the goat guy. That probably doesn't make sense. I'll just do it and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm still not sure what this building's going to be. I think it's going to be like a cathedral or something, far distant. I'm really fudging the perspective on this because this is clearly foreground, and then this is scale-wise. If it is going to be a cathedral, it has to be way in the background. So I'm going to have to do some middle ground stuff just to make that not look like a ridiculous miniature. But then again, with the giant cat and stuff, I guess I'm already fudging perspectives. Okay, let's just try throwing in a little bit of cad orange. Yeah, I gotta this. See how thick this is? This is no good. I'm due for a new tube of this. This is almost done for. So I'm going to work in a little bit of liquid in there just to make it a little more viscous so I can actually use it. But that tube has seen its last painting. Charlie says I was going to suggest a mace for the weapon, but it would block the cathedral. That's a good suggestion, but what I'm leaning towards for it now is like a lance, because I kind of just want to paint like a cool spiral around the lance. That's kind of what I'm feeling now, but we'll see. I change my mind all the time when working on a painting. Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, just this little bit of cadmium orange popping up from the bottom. Yeah, it's kind of nice. This is just the way I paint. There's a lot of painters that lay paint in thick and they just nail it on the first pass and it's fucking beautiful and you know whatever. I've never been that kind of a painter. I'm always like a work in layers kind of guy. That's how I've achieved the results that I like the best. So I'm judging this as to based on what I know it's going to look like as I get further along and add more layers onto it as well. So anyway, let's see, or a wicked halberd, or a giant cat toy. Let's see. Feels like this painting should be hung in a castle above a roaring fireplace. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I'll show you what I was talking about now. I'm just going to simply outline this goat. You know what I need to do? I need to grab a yardstick real quick. I got one floating around here somewhere, and I'll show you why in a second. Oh, shit. Oops, just stuck my finger in the paint. Okay, well, the yardstick was a little out of reach. I'm going with this T-square. And reason being is this paint is so wet. If I start outlining right now, I'm going to stick my hand in this paint like crazy. But there's a little shelf on my easel, which you can't see. Let's see if I can zoom out a bit. You can kind of see it there in the frame. So there's a little shelf right here, and I can stick the T-square in there like that, and then I can have something to bear my hand on, but the shelf isn't indented enough to where the T-square is going to hit the painting. So that's my little trick. Let's zoom back in. Okay. I know a lot of artists have like a tool that is specifically for this purpose, and it has like a name. I do not know that name because I've always only ever used a yardstick or a T-square to do this. I never felt the need to buy a separate stick just to just to do this with, but some artists like having a specific tool for the specific job. I'm more of a whatever gets the job done kind of guy. Okay, so I think you can see already how this is, obviously the white outline makes it stick out a lot just because it's, gives us the contrast, but I don't want a hard white outline like that, so I'm just going to take the brush and lightly feather it out a bit, right? So you still get that highlight behind it in the sky, which makes it pop a little more, but then we get to fade it out, have this kind of weird fiery outline. Again, not motivated by reality. I just need this goat guy to pop, and aesthetically I like this technique, even if it takes us away from the realism of a giant cat being ridden by a goat monster knight. See, and I gotta, obviously I'm gonna go back in and work the goat some more, and we'll end up adding more colors into this. I might make that more of a flame type thing, but for now I'm just trying to get the goat to pop out more, and it's doing the trick. And if you're going to do something like this, of course you want to, this is a wet on wet technique, so I wouldn't get this good of a gradient if I allowed that iron oxide red to dry first. Just laughing at Charlie's comment that she says that's her life in a nutshell, not motivated by reality. Yes, I can relate to that. And this tail is not defined yet at all. And this isn't the stage of the painting where I'm going to define the tail, but I do want to have this lighter sky behind it, so I'm still going to do this white gradient effect, even though the tail has no real shape yet. Yeah, there's a lot of artists. The thing with art, there's no one way to do anything. There's no right way or wrong way. Every artist has their own style and their own set of techniques. And a lot of artists don't like breaking reality. Everything they want to feel grounded, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you like. But I tend to like more fantastic artwork, just weird surrealist stuff. So that's kind of what I paint, and that allows me the freedom to break more rules rather than to rigidly follow how the art, what other people think the art should be, should look like. Whether or not that has been to the detriment of my art career, who can say? Brian Babonk said I had to look up the proper name for the hand rest. It's called a maul stick. Oh, that's right. I guess I did know that. It was in the back of my brain. Good looking out, Brian. I am far too lazy to have actually looked that up, so I'm glad you did. Yeah, you know, I guess the reality of it is like just this size of canvas and this particular easel lends itself well to using like this technique with the T-square or a yardstick for it. But maybe if I were painting on a larger scale canvas, then getting a specific mall stick might make more sense for me. But yeah, I don't know. Though at the same time, I've painted on some pretty big canvases and never felt the need for a fancy stick. I'm going to probably keep this gradient glow thingy going on down below too, but since I don't have any paint on the background for what's below yet, there will be nothing for the white to mix with, so I'm going to save that till a later stage of the painting. Christopher says, this is relaxing. I'm falling asleep. Don't be offended. I won't be offended, but I do thank you for watching. So if you fall asleep, I thank you now for watching. I'll wait until you fall asleep and then I'll start screaming really loudly. Just for fun. Just kidding. Maybe. You'll find out. Yeah, I'm actually feeling pretty good about this painting so far. I mean, I know it's super early stages and it's maybe not obvious to everyone where it's going, but I kind of know where it's going now at this point, and that's the most important part, is that I know where it's going at this point, and I'm thinking that I'm going to be pretty happy with how this turns out, as long as I don't mess it up. Indy says you should check out the Ray Klein. I think you'd like her. Check out Ray Klein. I think you'd like her stuff. She is the reason I wanted to try oils. Then I was mad when I didn't immediately paint like her, but I had zero experience with oils. Oh, I'll have to check out her work. Nice. I always like learning about new artists or artists that are new to me. Yeah, you know, no matter how long you paint for, there's always going to be artists out there that will make you feel like you don't know how to paint because they're so good. But that's like one of the cool things about art, is that you can never be perfect at it. You can never achieve perfection with it. You know, there's always new stuff to learn, and there's always other great artists out there that are doing things or techniques that you don't know about yet. And yeah, it's just a constant learning experience, and it's, yeah, makes art like really just really fun, really enjoyable. This squeaky chair. Okay, I'm making a mental note. WD-40 my chair before the next live stream. All right, and I'm going to just give a recap again. Apologies to everyone who's been watching since the beginning, because I say the same thing a bunch of times. But typically, people don't watch for the whole stream. So for those who are new to the stream and just joining now, this live stream painting event we call Art Autopsy, and that originated at Hyena Gallery in Burbank, California, where we would do that as a live event. And now I am taking it and recreating that on the YouTube space. But part of the Art Autopsy event is I like to encourage other people, whoever's watching, to make art from home. So if you watch these streams, and I do them every other Thursday, so 2 weeks from today will be the next stream. But get some art supplies together, even if it's just a piece of paper and a pencil. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but it could be, if you want to draw or paint or sculpt or crochet or whatever it is that your medium of choice is. I do this every 2 weeks. Recently just started back up with the live stream. So yeah, come join me every 2 weeks and make some art. So if you're not making art right now, totally fine. It's also, I appreciate you guys just watching too, but if you'd like to make art with me, I highly encourage that. And it's a good way, if you're trying to get into the habit of making art and you have a regularly scheduled time to do it in, it's a great way to make sure you're staying in practice. Of course, I highly recommend to practice your art more than once every 2 weeks, but if that's all you have time for, hey, it's a good excuse to get it done. So, and if anyone does make art as part of the live stream, and you'd like to share it with me, you can email me at clintcarneycreates@gmail.com. Send me a picture of the work, and I will feature it on an upcoming live stream or video. And if you're not yet subscribed to the channel, I always forget to say that, please subscribe. That helps out a lot. And hit the notification bell, which is probably the most crucial thing, because if you don't hit the notification bell, even if you're subscribed, sometimes YouTube doesn't let you know when there's a new video on a channel you're subscribed to. But and if you're new to the channel, I do all sorts of things. It's called Clint Carney Creates instead of Clint Carney Paints or whatever, because I do all kinds of creative activities. So I paint, as you can see, but I also build props and make movies and music and all kinds of fun stuff. So lots of fun stuff coming up for the channel this year and beyond. So please subscribe. Thus ends my commercial. Art Lady Bluntzer says, "Howdy, Sir Clint. Enjoying your art project." Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate you watching. Okay, yeah, this is going to be just like a lance. I'm committing to the lance now, mostly because I just want to paint a cool spiral around it. That's the only reason. I don't necessarily think that a cat would be a good animal to ride when jousting, but you never know, really. You never know until you try. Oh, it is 9:35. Holy smokes, we've been going for 2.5 hours already. Time flies when you're making art. Okay, I mean, hey, that's the gist of the sky there, right? So that's shaping up. Yeah. Okay. You know what? This actually might be. Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna turn this into a cathedral, like I said, because it's already basically there with the spires, and I'm going to keep a lot of this background. Well, a lot of the painting is going to be fairly monochromatic. I mean, not truly, because we got the olive green in there too, but I think this, these colors that you're seeing in the sky are going to carry through to a lot of it. Um, and then we're going to selectively pick some highlight colors to pop, right? So main color palette, olive green, iron oxide red, cadmium orange, and then some accent colors. So the spiral on the lance, something, the cat's eyes, a different color. Or maybe we'll pop those with like an emerald green kind of, or yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll see. I might even make his eyes glow, like a glowy green. That could be cool. Um, the goat is pretty much going to stay muted, dark fur and all that. But we are going to want to capture um, the reflection of the sunset and all that in the armor. So that's going to be a whole thing, which I'm not going to get into that tonight because that's going to take forever. But that's all right. But let's block in this cathedral here and see. It doesn't need suggesting shapes. Let's see. Art Lady Bluntzer has a question. How do you come up with your ideas? Do you read books and imagine what the characters are going to look like? Excellent question. No, I just I make art all the time. I do some form of art every day. It's not always drawing. Sometimes it's music. Sometimes it's writing. Sometimes it's sculpting. But every day, Christmas, my birthday, there are no days off from art for me. It's just my life, right? So because I'm never out of practice with it, I feel fortunate that I have a strong enough imagination to where I can sit down with no game plan and just make something up on the fly. And that's exactly what we did with this painting. Oh no, I froze. The camera froze again. Oh no. Okay, give me one sec, guys. It shouldn't take me as long this time to reboot it, so I will finish this question once I figure out the camera. So it's going to go off for a second, but I promise I will be back as fast as I can reset this camera. Let me refresh YouTube. Can anyone hear me or see me? Hey, I think we're back, right? Okay. And I've successfully just lost most of the audience with that technical problem. I do not know what is happening with this camera. So, all right, sorry, we're back. I think the camera is like overheating or something. I don't know. So if it freezes again, we'll just call it for the night. But keep going for a little bit, and hopefully it won't freeze up. Anyway, Where were we? Well, I don't know if the people that were watching before are still watching, but I will continue to answer the questions. Art Lady Blunter had asked, how do you come up with your ideas? And long story short on that, I just make it up off the top of my head, generally speaking. Um, and then Art Lady Blunter also asks, are you self-taught? Uh, yeah, I mean, for the most part. Um, well, it's self-taught in that I read a lot of books and I watched other artists uh, paint and asked them questions and things like that. So I never had like formal school uh, training for art other than um, art classes in like middle school and high school and stuff. But yeah, I didn't go to art school or anything like that. Just kept at it. But not that there's anything wrong with art school. I think it really, I think everyone is different. And for me, um, I learn best when I pursue things on my own. I was never, well, I was, I did fine in school. It's not that I did poorly in school, but I learned better just doing my own research and reading at my own pace, which I have found to be often a much more rigorous pace than they have at school. So anyway, okay, I'm going to add more detail in here later, but for now, I'm just kind of getting the shapes in of like what this building could potentially be. And I don't know that in general that this building is going to have a whole ton of detail. It might just fall off in the background. Maybe there'll be some fog in between, but I just wanted to give it a little bit of definition so that you could at least glance at it and go, oh, hey, that's some kind of a cathedral or chapel or something. And then I'm just going in with some this olive green for the shadows here. Oh man, we are coming up on 10 o'clock though. I tell you, sorry about all the technical difficulties tonight. I know we had two big drops, but I think I might be getting to the point to call it a night soon. Yeah, I might just finish up this, this layer on this chapel and call it a night on the cathedral. Just because we're coming up on 3 hours, and I have found that most people do not have a 3 hour attention span to watch me ramble and paint, but there are several of you that have still been in since the beginning, and I so appreciate that. Like, really great to get to hang out with you guys and make art. And yeah, I think we're gonna call it for the night. So this is yeah. Anyway, this is what it's gonna be for tonight. I'm gonna keep working on this for. I'm gonna keep working on this and get this painting finished before the next art autopsy. So the next one will be 2 weeks from today. It'll be Thursday, 7 p.m. 2 weeks from today. I don't know the date off the top of my head, but you can do the math. And I will have this finished up before then and show you guys how it turned out. I'll also be editing together a video, not only of a condensed version of this live stream, but also a condensed version of all of the work that I do on this painting to get it from this stage to the finished process. So yeah, so we're going to call it 3 hours in. That's a good enough live stream session. I thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, please subscribe to the channel and find me on Patreon if you're into that sort of thing. Patreon.com/Clint Carney. And send pictures of your art to me at clintcarneycreates@gmail.com. And we'll see you next time. Again, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you.